Welcome back to Freedomimpact Trust. It's AJ and Curtis here, and we've got someone very special on the podcast today. We're into extreme sports ourselves, we're into TV ourselves, and you seem to have done everything. We've got Aimee Fuller here. How are you doing? How's life?
I'm so good on this delightful, sunny
I
Monday morning. 2.5 coffees deep, and
I feel you.
Lots of smiles. I feel the energy.
I think the one I'm going to jump. I'm diving
Throw
straight
it in, AJ. Jump in. Get right in there.
I love this
because I'm really intrigued. Like the snowboarding side,
yeah.
I was doing my obviously research and getting into the background. You moved to America when you were 12 years old.
Yes.
What was that? Was that a family thing, or was that to pursue a career in something? And then you're back at 16. I was like, what's happening? I was so intrigued.
Boom. So basically, family out there. My cousins are in Canada. Work opportunity cropped up for my dad, so we moved there. I had never snowboarded before, and essentially started school. British kid in America, didn't really fit in straight away. And there was this chap, young lad, 12 years old, invited me for a snowboard session at the weekend, as you do in America, casually.
I like it.
That sounds good. And I'd skied as a kid, so from the age of 4 on dry slope in Bromley. And
dry slope.
Yeah, a bit of dry slope.
I hate a dry slope.
And I always wanted to try snowboarding. I remember seeing a guy go from the top of Bromley dry ski slope to the bottom, and he aired the little ski roller. And I was like, that looks good.
That's sick. Yeah.
And prior to that, I'd done years worth of motocross. So if you combine reading lines and transitions in a motocross track with a little bit of skiing and 2 years of being the elephant in the gymnastics class, you've kind of got the perfect combination. So when I had this opportunity to try snowboarding, I never for one moment thought this could be a career. I just instantly fell in love with the freedom and the creative opportunity. Snowboarding to me is a blank canvas, and you can go out there, you can ride, you can do it with friends, you can do it with family, and it's a way of self-expression because there's no right or wrong and there is no rules. And I think that's what I fell in love with.
Yeah, I think when you're doing them sorts of sports, like even like when your brain's fully immersed in like you are focused on one thing or moving, you just everything clears. Your brain just becomes like zen. It sounds like very zen, very the clarity is just such a good feeling.
We've always been into
personally.
extreme sports as kids, so that's what we grew up as doing. And I know exactly what you mean by saying it's a blank canvas, and you really have nothing else to focus on bar what's in front of you. Yeah. What line can we do? What jump can we do? What can we do better? And you are the first female as well to do a double backflip. Is that correct?
First person to do a double in competition at the X Games in 2012.
Which is that's mental. We watched the X Games.
We were the best thing ever. I'd get home, we'd put it up, I'd be like watching it, like even because we did mountain boarding and snowboarding and all that, we like crossed over like, oh my god, on X Games they've just done this. It was the thing. Like
how was it?
It's just so cool.
It is still the thing within action sports. So we now obviously have the Olympics, which was introduced in 2014 for what I do, slopestyle. And then in 2018, they brought in big air as well. So in 2018, I went for slopestyle and big air. But X Games is the epitome of any action sports.
Do you still feel that's still got its like the X Games is like you prefer that over the Olympics? And it's very different.
So different in a way.
The difference is the Olympics, you have 24 to 32 competitors. And there is the option for 4 people from each country if they qualify the quota spots. With X Games, you have 12 people that are invited, and it's the best people in the world. So it might be 7 Americans, 1 Brit, and
it's just the best.
So it doesn't matter what countries, it is just the best are there.
It is the creme de la creme. And the day I received my first X Games invite, I was like, this is it.
How did it come
in the post?
Is it an email? Is it like a letter?
It was just an email to one of my like backyard emails.
This doesn't sound like you've been the junk.
You actually won't believe this, right? So I think my first X Games was in 2009, and we were in the Tyrol Valley in Austria, and we'd just done another event, and we were driving to the next either training or competition. I can't remember exactly. And of all the places I was in McDonald's in Austria, and I opened my email.
True sportsman.
Yeah, exactly. And it's for me that was like a real landmark day, because as a kid growing up in sport, and particularly action sports, that is the dream. That is one box that you have to complete. So yeah, it was an honor to do that, and then to do the double in that particular event was really special.
It is unbelievable. Like for you, when you did that first competition at the X Games, was it like I need more, or was it a positive or a negative for you? Because sometimes some people go both ways with this, like the pressure, Did
you realize it was sort of becoming a business then, like in a way, like this is your career, your everything by then?
Well, I think it started a little earlier than that. So when I was in America, I started riding more. I rode in Pennsylvania, which was an hour and a half from where we lived in Virginia, and I just totally fell in love with it. My mind was consumed. I'd be in science class, and in physics they'd start mentioning distances, and I started seeing every opportunity to relate back to snowboarding. So even in statistics, doing GCSE statistics, I was looking at spatial awareness and I was relating it back to snowboarding. So I decided that was my dream. That is what I wanted to fulfill. But then moving back to the UK, I thought, this is just not possible. How can I become a professional snowboarder, 16 years old, going to school in Northern Ireland? And my first week back at school, I had this one phone call. My mum, it was like the landline. My mum was like, Aimee, there's someone on the phone for you. I was like, oh, that's random. And it was, hi, Aimee, this is Stina Brunkeldus, the Roxy European team manager. So for those that don't know, Roxy is like Quicksilver. Yeah. We want to invite you out to Switzerland in 2 weeks' time for you to join us on the Roxy Future Team Camp.
That's epic.
It's a crew of like the youngest up-and-coming 16-year-olds, and we'd love you to join.
Oh, that's cracking.
Went on that, and that one experience changed my life. And I went back to school to do my A-levels, and I remember my careers teacher saying to me, Aimee, what are you gonna apply for? What are you gonna apply for?
What box you ticking?
Yeah, for uni. And I was like, I'm not. I don't want to go. I want to be a snowboarder. And she's like, well, you can't. How can you be a professional snowboarder? I was like, I will. So I just stopped going. And
that's so hard though when people close a box like that on you. When you love something so much like that, you said it's your freedom, you've just fell in love with this, you're doing everything, you've had all these amazing opportunities, and no, you can't do that.
But it's not the norm, right?
Yeah.
It's not a normal thing to do. I can walk down the street now, and if somebody asks me what you do, I'd say I'm a former professional athlete, I'm a snowboarder, and now work in broadcast. You know, a lot of people still don't know snowboarding. They go, the skiboarding thing. Yeah. The skateboard on snow. You're like, it's an Olympic sport now. And I don't expect people to know. But when somebody closes the door, for me, it's an opportunity to prove them wrong.
Yeah. That was the same thing. School was my exact... It was PE. The irony of being PE was the one thing. They were like... I was like, I'm going to be a dancer. Like, I'm going to do that. And they were like, well, no. It's not football. It's not rugby. It's not cricket, which was obviously the three main ones in our school. And I was like, no, I'm going to do dancing. And like everybody else was supportive. PE were like, they just like laughed at you.
Eventually.
I was like, of the only people, I was like, it's fine. I'll turn up again, arrive in my Merc at the front door when we leave, and it'll be fine, and prove a point. And that was one of the things for me. It's always like, as you said, that drive to succeed and thrive is kind of the people that say no is the ones that like, okay, that's a good amount of energy for me to keep going.
It's a funny one. It's like, it definitely fuels the fire. But I think when you know internally and you feel the love and passion and self-belief for something, it actually doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And those little knocks along the way, they're just little moments and chunks of inspiration to utilize and use to go, you know what, I know deep down in my gut and my core that that's what I want, and I believe it's possible. So I'm going to do it regardless of what any of you think.
I think that's one thing in the UK right now. If you like look at our industries, like even like camera guy, editors, like things that you need right now for what we need to do moving forward, and seeing like all of social media expanding. Like you go to school, where's the course for like editing? Where's the course for like what? There's no adaptation. There's no forward thinking. It's like the exact same thing that's always been there. It's like, well, actually, no. You should be really adapting your courses to what the future is opening up, because content is something that's going to be more and more, like the growth in that sector is going to be insane.
Did you actually find, talking about like people not having the opportunities and like schools not giving you, snowboarding in England then, it's dry ski slopes or it's indoor snow domes?
Did you
it?
get supported by the government?
Yeah. How did you,
as soon as it
how
became
did
an Olympic sport?
Yeah, so I joined the junior team that same year in 2007, and it wasn't until it was introduced as an Olympic sport in 2011ish, based off my prior results in World Cup events and X Games. I then got put on one of the funding brackets, and you definitely do get funding, and it is incredibly useful, and it would be great to see more of it. But I actually learned so much from the core values of snowboarding and the brands, and working with the likes of Red Bull and Jeep and Roxy. And through that has enabled me to sustain a living as a professional athlete through sponsorships and endorsements. And then through that, I've also learned how to market myself, speak to different people from all different backgrounds in different careers. And snowboarding for me, I would say, was my degree of life. So the sport taught me so much that I've taken into this new career. So yes, the funding was extremely helpful, but you will not get funding until you are good. This is the problem.
The hard thing,
with the, the funding systems. But it makes sense. Why are you going to invest into something where there is no results? You need a result to get the funding. But then the minute, I'm not sure if you guys know this, so the top athletes that you will know names of, the minute you earn over a certain amount through commercial endorsements, you're then stripped of that funding, which is quite interesting as well. So it's a catch-22, really.
It is, and that actually sort of is in a way. I understand why they do that.
We never got funding from sport because we weren't technically a sport. And we never got funding from the arts because we were not technically in arts. You sat right in the middle, so you get zero funding because it's not Olympic sport. So you were just like, you just kind of get like a laugh at you, be like, oh, we can't give you any money. Oh, we can't give you any money. It's like, okay, cool. We'll just keep doing what we do.
Oh, we had to go out and look for sponsorship.
Yeah, 100%.
Were you sort of the same? Were you looking at brands thinking, oh, I want to work with them, or I need to work with them, or this and that? And
and I think that's a huge learning, and I would say it's probably put you guys in a great position as well, because you get this new understanding of how it works, sponsorship and endorsement. It's a totally different network, and I would write the emails, I would make sponsorship proposals.
100%.
I call it now, and it's the same now, even with work now, you call it firing the bullets. You're like, you send, you want to work.
I love that. Just send it to everybody.
You're gonna hit something.
At the time there was a goal. My dream was to snowboard for Red Bull. But I messaged all 10 energy drink companies because one is better than none. 3 might reply, and then you've got a choice. So it was a case of, when I was younger, firing all of the bullets. But as you get older and you get more experience, it's about firing them more accurately. And that is definitely something that I do now. But that's based on such a wealth and depth of experience, which has been learned throughout my career.
You've built your brand skill, in what you like. The way you represent it, we haven't even got onto the TV side, but the way you have taken that from the actual extreme sports to the kind of Winter Olympics, and then becoming the face of it within the UK. Like, for you, how was that adaptation, that kind of being behind the camera, but in a very different aspect? That's for sure. Yeah,
I think so. We have a show on the BBC called Ski Sunday. So when I was snowboarding still professionally, occasionally you'd have the opportunity, if you'd done well or in the lead up to the Olympics, to do an interview for Ski Sunday. And I remember in 2017 November, before the 2018 Winter Olympics, being interviewed for Ski Sunday, and I just remember loving it. I was like, this is awesome.
I've made it.
I want to do more of this. I love speaking, I love connecting to people, but I like hearing other people's journeys. And I took a lot from that one moment, and then competed in 2018. And I was asked to join BBC on the breakfast show with Radzi. And Radzi's become a very good friend of mine. And I went along and I spent, 15 minutes with him live on air, talking through the men's snowboarding big air finals. And it went so well, they asked me back again. And I absolutely loved every single moment of that conversation with Radzi more than anything, breaking down our sport, explaining it to him.
He's brilliant.
Making it relatable. People don't understand the scale of our sport. Why should they? But that's the beauty, and that's what I love is, okay, if you imagine a double-decker bus, it's like jumping the length of that, sandwiching that in between a jump, and you're jumping the height of it. It's all to scale, and to have
being able to visualize and explain it
like that to the masses, that's a beautiful thing to do, and it's very rewarding when people say, now I get it, or I enjoyed that. So I felt it then for the first time, and I think I've taken a lot from my snowboarding and interjected it into the way I speak and share stories with people now on the broadcast front. But yeah, getting the call 4 years later to have the opportunity to host my own show on the BBC for the 2022 Winter Olympics was, a huge milestone.
Were you nervous? Were you scared?
You know what, Curtis? Actually, it takes quite a lot to make me nervous.
Yeah.
And the floor manager came up to me. She went, I've never seen you look so or be so speechless. And that first show,
shaking.
You know what? I was nervous.
It's like 3, 2,
it's
1.
good though to be
Hopefully
nervous.
she speaks.
I'll tell you why I was nervous. Because it was my second dream. I was in the process of living out my second dream. And it's something that I've thought about for the last 4 years. It's something I've manifested. It's something I care a lot about. So to have that opportunity, it was like, wow, this is really happening right now. It's crazy.
It's really interesting you say like this second dream scenario.
I was just going to touch on this. Yeah.
I love the way you just kind of said that, because people kind of put people in boxes. Like, it's like, oh, you're an Olympian, you snowboard. Full stop. Well, stop, end of. It's like you vanish from the world. And it's like, well, no, people have different stages within their lives and different ambitions. And I feel like for you, seeing you kind of go from like the snowboarding side, because we were extreme sports people, we love it, we appreciate it, we understand how hard it is to do that. Like, you make it look so simple, and that's because you're awesome at it. Like, you do it great. The people that make it look hard, well, they're not very good. And then you go into this like second stage of your career, like, and this is like only the beginning of this presenting side, knowing how long you can do that. But what would you say, like, even now through the podcast you're doing, your book, and like obviously this is going to be one of probably many moving forward, how do you feel like that responsibility has changed, that impact, and like the name of the podcast, Freedom, Impact and Trust, like that you're giving to people moving forward? Like, is that a different responsibility for you? Like, you're representing a lot of people.
Yeah, I think moving forward, I only see excitement, because again, I'm following my gut and my heart, and it's something I love. And I think the best part about what I do now, in fact, today, my podcast came out. It comes out every Monday. It's called Monday Mile, similar to yours. It's mindset, motivation, and resilience. And it's been designed to get people off their screens, out walking and talking. And one of my best friends is incredibly shy, but she is extremely talented. And for me, it was so rewarding being able to give her a platform, the confidence and the space, and make her feel at ease to share and express her story. That for me is extremely fulfilling. So moving forward, I see my podcast as a space to allow people to speak and to make them feel comfortable, to allow them to bring out the best in who they are. Yeah. And I think within media, there's a lot of outlets, and a lot of them are small windows. When we have the opportunity to go on TV shows, it's exciting, right? You get a buzz off it, but you have 3 minutes, 4 minutes to make impact.
Strictly, you walk up them stairs and you go up to a Clauditorium with Claudia, and you have, as a pro, one sentence, if you're lucky, to make sure you get as much information in to praise your partner, tell people to vote, but don't tell them to vote because you can't do that. And then you're like, if you mess up
and
that
that's
1
why you see
second,
everybody pointing at the thing.
You're screwed straightforward. And as you're saying, like these platforms, like what you've created with the ability to everybody walks, everybody talks, and then suddenly you remove all them barriers, you remove everything, and you have the opportunity to explain what you're trying to say. Whereas in our day and age, especially in cancel culture, like you could say one sentence, it could be snipped up and put out like that. It's like, well, no, allow me to explain what my point is, so therefore we can all be on the same plane level again. And that's what you've done. I love that.
You just see yourself as sort of like a mother figure now on your podcast. You can have people come in and they can just talk about what they want, do what they want, and you're just like the mother hen there. It's a safe and comfortable, warming space talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy sometimes, you know. Some people you really need to dig and dig and dig, but in a friendly way. I'm not out there to get anyone, to help them open up. But other people, you give them the space and it's like a shitter gun. It's like, I'm like, cool, that's cool, you know. Also, if you want to do that, I got
my steps in today.
I'll just kick back and you can do the talking. And I think that's a beautiful thing when you learn also how to share the space with people. And I think that's something that you guys are doing very well. And it's not easy, I think, as a host. And I think that's one of the arts to it is allowing freedom of speech and space. And with that and my career in broadcast, it's quite exciting, really. I don't know which way it can go, but I think the one thing that I would like to take forward is that there is a space where sport meets entertainment. And I want to be one of the people to bring those two things together. Currently, sports broadcast is very traditional, it's very formatted, and then you've got entertainment, it's loose, it's wild, it's fun. And I believe there is a space where the two will cross over, and I'd like to see more of that. And I think that's what's cool about the evolution of content creation now. It can go any which way, and by us having this freedom to create, it opens up opportunities for us to merge what we love, which eventually could end up, you know, with a show. Like, you know, like the end goal is to have my own show. Like, why can't the Monday Mile be bigger?
That's what I was going to say.
This is just the start of it.
Just before you go anywhere, we just want to say thank you very much to listen to Freedomimpact Trust. We love your reviews, so please do leave them because it helps other people find us, doesn't it, Curtis?
Yes, it does. As AJ said, comment, like, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it with the entire world. Let everybody know that this is the podcast that you guys are listening to, and jot down some comments of any financial advice that you want or any questions. We'll be happy to answer all of them at the best of our knowledge. Thanks again for listening, guys. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we love you all.
Yeah, we just want to thank our sponsors, FINT, the financial investment app, where you can invest from as little as £50 a month. Yes, Curtis, £50 a month. So easy.
I like it. And don't forget that it's all within 3 portfolios. Simplicity. It's easy. Get investing, guys.
Have a great day.
See you later.